Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, where we're doing something a little bit different that we haven't done on the show for quite a while. We're going to be looking at a 1/10 crawler, but more scaled trail truck. Really, Future Gav here may have underestimated the performance of this truck, but you just have to wait to find out why. And it's this from RGT. It's a 1/10 short wheelbase trail truck, really, but very scale, and I must admit, really like it. So let's open it up and take a look at what you get for all your money. So before we dive into all the little details, let's just have a quick overlook of what you actually get in the box. And obviously the RC. Then you get a transmitter, 6-channel. We'll have a better look at this in a minute. Then you get a 20C 2000 milliamp 2S LiPo battery with a Dean's connector. You then get a USB charger. It'll get you by, but really you need to get a fast charger for it. Then you get some little bits and pieces that we'll come on to later, and some of them I've just no idea what they're for. Then you obviously get manual with exploded diagram, we'll look in more detail, and some stickers, as well as a bag of bits and bobs. In this bag there seems to be a new pinion, some more motor mount parts. Not sure if you get those in every one, but they were in mine. Right, so let's have a look at the actual car. Now I know what you're all thinking, isn't that a Land Cruiser? Well, it's actually called an Intruder. But yes, even in the box, there is some stickers that have Land Cruiser on them, which I fitted to the body. Now, in comparison to some other cars, this is a TRX4 from a scale perspective. Then this is a Tamiya CC-01 Land Rover body. And then finally, I put it up against the Masochist. So for a 1/10, it looks about right. It is a very high-sided car, so obviously performance is going to be a bit limited. But from a look perspective, it looks really good. I think they did a fantastic job. It has a 285mm wheelbase and it's 265mm tall. The body is polycarbonate and it's offered in 3 colours. You got the choice of red. This is my favourite, that's why I went for it, metallic-y red. Then there is a silver, and then there's a cream/sand colour. Polycarbonate body detail is amazing. You get a hard roof rack, you get a snorkel, a massive front bumper that goes all the way down the front wings. Like I said before, you do get a decal sheet, but the main decals that you see running all the way down the side of the car were fitted for you. Now, it's not going to improve performance, but you could definitely put some really good scale things on the top roof rack. Also, there's some mounting points where you could put some additional lights. Now, you do get some lights installed on this kit. You get the front lights, rear lights, and automatic indicators as you turn left and right. One aspect of the body that I thought was a really good move was they put a driver cockpit in it with a driver for you. The dash has some stickers on it with lots of details, and I think it's a fun place to start to add more detail to the inside and the driver itself. Now, being it's firmly planted in the detailed scaled trail truck, not a massive crawler, articulation is not going to be brilliant, and don't expect to get any beadlock rims, but the tyres that they actually went and fitted to this, I was really impressed with. The compound themselves was very soft and very flexible, so it should be able to really bite into any surface. Oh, and before I forget, the mud flaps are a lovely detailed touch as well. Now, as RGT put quite a lot of effort into this polycarbonate body with all these little hard addition parts that are all fitted for you, they then go and give you a random bag of additional parts that you can fit to your body. Now, I have no idea what this is. I looked at the manual and I couldn't find it whatsoever. And it also was the same for a set of small lights. I had no idea where they went, didn't say in the manual whatsoever. I get the feeling, and I'm guessing, that you actually bolt them to the roof rack side mounts. But at this point, I'm purely guessing. Now, they do go quite well up there, but there's no way to mount them unless you take the whole roof rack off. But that would mean you've got to take all the cockpit out first to get access to the screws that are holding the roof rack in. So it can't be the case Now, another aspect that's a little bit strange is that all these parts have all been fitted for you apart from window wipers. Yes, you get a set of window wipers for the rear here, and you also get 2 on the front, but you've got to actually pierce the holes to mount the window wipers. As well as included in the kit is this wing mirror, which you have to mount yourself. I decided against that. And also you get an interior rear view mirror that you can put in, but you've got to take out the whole cockpit to do it. Again, really strange how it's been left out for you to do later on. Now, putting those little niggles to one side, the actual detail and the effort that they went to with all the lovely lights and all the little touches they've done and all the little hard parts that have been fitted to the polycarbonate body, I have to give them a double thumbs up. It does look absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, and just before I forget, that is a fully functioning spare wheel on the back of the body. Now, to keep that scale look, they decided to do away with the body pins. So they've done inverted body pins where it goes down into the chassis, and then you have pins at the front and pins at the rear that you just pop off. Now, from a look point of view, definitely is way better. But don't forget, look where these are. They're going to get absolutely covered in dirt and mud, which is not great, but you pull the pins and the body comes off easy enough. Now you see the huge great bumper that goes all the way around the sides. Then there's some channels. Then there's these little mounts on the rear bumper. Now all those have to line up perfectly with the body as well as the 4 pins to put the body back on. And that's where the fun starts, as the body has to squeeze in between the front fender bars on both sides and line up the pins, and the sides of the body have to drop into those grooves, and then the rear has to line up correctly with those little tabs on the rear bumper. And as you can see, this is impossible to do, or especially one hand holding a camera, but even with 2 hands, this can be a right faff. Lining up everything is really tricky. So yeah, I got a bit lucky, the side ones dropped in there, but you see these little tabs on the rear, they have to all line up perfectly as well. Now as you go to line one side up, guess what it does to the other side? It pops it off. So in the field, swapping out a battery on this would definitely be a no-no. As well as the ESC on and off switch is not the easiest to get access to with the body on. Now, unfortunately, a lovely body is not going to get you a great RC. What you put underneath that body is just as important. And I'm happy to report what we've got is a lovely set of beautiful machined alloy chassis rails in a low center of gravity configuration. And between the chassis rails, you also get aluminium mounts. So it's all looking really nice. You also get alloy foil shocks that are fully adjustable with loads of mounting options. Now, as I talked about earlier, fitting the body to this chassis is a real pain and you wouldn't want to do it in the field. Luckily, included in the kit is an additional battery tray that I fitted, and you can see it here. Now, the original battery that comes in this is very small and gives you 2000 milliamps. But if I was going to go out on the trails, I would definitely want to put the biggest battery in it I can. Now, luckily, that's exactly what you can do. And you can also leave the small original battery tray in place as well. Now, included in the kit is an integrated ESC and receiver. It's a 60 amp 2S and 3S capable. Now, it's a 6-channel, which means you have loads of opportunities to add additional features like lights. It is definitely set up for you to add additional lights yourself, as there's extra mounting points for all the lights. Also, there's extra cabling sitting waiting for you to plug them in. Now, the transmitter has loads of additional buttons, so you can add extra lights to the system without any effort at all. Also, you could fit a winch and winch servo into this easy enough, and there is a proper winch button on there as well. Now, obviously, the transmitter has a lot of your standard features like steering trim and things like that, but also it has dip switches so you can adjust the drag brake strength as well as change from LiPo to NIMH. It would have been nice to see a foam wheel, but overall you've got lots of potential upgrade possibilities with this transmitter. Now, the car comes with a 35-turn brushed motor. Also, it has a center transfer case and alloy diffs front and rear. You also get a 25 kg Metal Gear servo and metal servo horn, and it's waterproof as well, kind of as you'd expect. Not the fastest thing in the world, but it gets you going. As for reliability, well, only time is going to tell on that one. Now, it's quite a simple truck, universal drive shafts, no portal axles. You do get metal links, plastic drive shafts with metal ends. It comes with full bearings and metal gears, single speed transmission and alloy hexes. Now, one thing that surprised me about this car is realistically it's not a big crawler. It looks to me very much more like a trail truck, especially with that high-sided body. But they've decided to actually lock the diffs. You can't change them either, they're just set for you. So I think I've waffled on enough about it, so what we've got to do is get a battery in it, put the body back on. Here. You get the idea. And then take it out for a bit of a spin, so let's see what it's like. I'm quite interested to see the locking diffs, how that goes on the trails, as well as maybe trying to find something for it to crawl up and around to see whereabouts it exactly sits. Also, I want to make sure it actually goes fast enough that when you're walking, you're not just waiting for it. I don't think so, but let's find out. So the first thing, happy to report, this car is way fast enough on 2S to go trail driving. It will happily go faster than you can walk, even a brisk walk. It is quick enough, so you're not going to have any issues taking this on the trail at all. Also, having locked diffs, it wasn't too much of a problem on the trails. Obviously, your turning circle is going to be larger than it would be if you had active diffs, but it really did help on traction like this. I was surprised just how good it was. I really thought this car would just be tipping over all the time, being that it's such high-sided, but it's not. Also, the servo seemed to have enough power to be able to lift the nose around, so getting down off of the bank into the water was no problems at all. So super happy, way better than expected. I think a lot of it comes down to the tyres. These are really grippy, soft tyres, and that made all the difference. Now, according to the specification sheet, this is a waterproof truck, so we're definitely going to be testing that aspect. Now, the ESE is capable of running 2S and 3S, but honestly, I don't think you should really bother with 3S, as 2S is more than capable of pushing this truck along. I run the whole time in 2S and it didn't give me any issues. I didn't feel like I lacked power being on the trail or up to the windows in water. So as you can see, we have a very wet and slimy rock, and you'd think there'd be no chance to get this truck up onto the rock at all. Well, I'll be happy to report it did just that. The approach and departure angles are actually really good, being that this is trying to be a scale rig. Now, I didn't touch the suspension at all, I left it exactly like it was straight out of the box, but I think there is some tuning possibilities in there to improve it a little bit. It did feel very soft. After this drive, I was really happy with the performance that I was getting straight out of the box, and I would be happy to invest more money putting a better ESC and motor combination in this chassis, as I think it definitely has potential as you get great looks and reasonable performance in one big package. So I put a 2S 4100 milliamp battery in this when I took it for this run, and I was out there for a good 35-40 minutes driving around in the water, and it just kept going and going. So you've got some real run time in this. The dog definitely was an RC fan. It was really interested in chasing this around in the water. Right, that's enough messing around in the shallow end. Let's see how it wades. That's no problems at all. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and I'm very surprised at the performance level of this truck. You think it's just going to naturally fall over all the time, and really it's just a trail truck. But no, you can do some pretty decent crawling considering what it looks like. Right, next, well, I'm going to have to get my massive tin of WD-40 out to get all those bearings and try and dry them off a little bit. Also, I think I'm going to need a big towel. Thanks very much. Please like and subscribe. See you on the next one. But it was fun.